Hello everyone. There is one term which is very much in news, which is called as regulatory forbearance. Again, the same term is in economic survey. What is this regulatory forbearance, which is mentioned in the unit number 7 of volume 1? This term is subjected to prelims, I am expecting, and interview students also, IPBS, any bank exams can expect this question, Staff Selection Commission as well, and State Public Service Commissions also. Regulatory forbearance. Regulatory forbearance, the English meaning of forbearance is patient, maintaining resilient, being calm is called as forbearance. So regulatory forbearance is the term which is mainly from the banking sector. So regulatory forbearance means because of the global recession which started in 2008, the government of India, with the help of monetary policy of the RBI, they had adopted the policy called as regulatory forbearance, which means the banking sector, when they believe that the project is viable. Why? Because the same concept is in the news in COVID-19 last year. So when there is a viable project, but because of the global recession which happened in 2008 and because of the COVID-19, when there is no market, the viable project is losing the market and the viable project is facing the losses. In order to protect those viable projects, the RBI and the government of India came up with this regulatory forbearance, which mentions that when they are going to become a non-performing asset means for 3 months, if they are not paying the principal or interest, if for 3 months, if they default on paying of the EMI, equated monthly installments, then that particular account will be declared as NPA. If it is declared as NPA, then the bank will be having the bad image because of increase in NPAs. And the account holder also will be degraded with respect to the CIBIL, so that his overall credit rating will come down. So in order to protect the bank and the individual interest, there is a regulatory forbearance. What it will do, as it is a viable project, but because of the recession and because of the COVID-19 times, as the market is not working, so obviously the viable project also will become unviable. So what the bank is doing, the bank is giving secondary loan on the name called as restructured asset. What I will do, so first time when I gave the loan, they are not being able to pay back because of the economic failure. So again I am giving them loan by the name called as restructured assets. With that amount, he is paying back the EMI again. And he is using some capital for the development of the firm, so that it will not fall under the ambit of NPA. That particular concept is called as regulatory forbearance. But what happened? Some defaulters, they misused this policy. So knowingly they started asking for restructured assets, again taking the secondary loan, again becoming NPA. So the amount which was been given as a primary loan and with the secondary primary loan, the amount has been becoming doubled, and again they are not being in a position to pay back, hence it is becoming more as NPA. But when we see from the positive context like COVID-19 recession, the regulatory forbearance is a very good idea, that when a viable project is unable to pay back the loan, they are becoming NPA. In order to not to get into the NPA, when I am paying them extra loan, I am giving them extra loan with a name called as a restructured asset. Loan is called as asset. Again, why? Because anytime I can get it back. It is my money which is there with him. So it is asset for me. So it's called, I am restructuring the asset by giving them extra loan, so that he will pay back the EMIs, so that he will not fall in NPA, and the secondary loan also he will be using for the development of his project. That particular concept is called as regulatory forbearance. For example, we will see here. Without forbearance means if there is no forbearance, if the project is viable, the bank would restructure the asset and downgrade it as a non-performing asset. Means if the project is viable, but still if they are not paying the loan, they will be called as NPA. With the forbearance, if the project is viable, the bank would restructure the asset. As restructured assets do not require the same level of provisioning as NPA, inadequate provisions are made. So when it is viable, with forbearance, what I am doing, I am restructuring the asset. Means I am giving more loan so that it will not fall under the ambit of NPA. So I am protecting the project. Here the bank would restructure the asset and downgrade it to. If the project is viable, the bank would restructure the asset and downgrade it to a non-performing asset and provision for the same. Whereas here, means what I want to tell you here is, whenever there is a regulatory forbearance, when the projects are viable, both good. But the problem comes when the project is unviable. See here, without forbearance, if the project is unviable, the bank would not restructure without forbearance the loan and declare the asset as non-performing. Crucially, banks do not gain by restructuring unviable projects in this case. So here the banks are not going for restructuring of the assets. Why? Because forbearance is not there if the project is unviable. But if the project is viable, yes, they are taking some chance. If the project is viable and forbearance is there, they are protecting the company. But capital starved banks now have an incentive to restructure even unviable projects to reduce provisioning and avoid the consequent hit on capital. So when forbearance is there, viable project, I am protecting it. When project is viable, if without forbearance also I am protecting. Why? Because I know that it is a viable project. If it is not a viable project, I am not going for forbearance. So this project is getting default. But the positive things in the COVID-19 times, recession times is this forbearance. For unviable projects also I am going for structured assets. Because of going for restructuring of the assets of the unviable projects, it is not going to become the NPA. I am protecting the unviable projects also not to fall into the NPA, so that it can pick up, so that it can evolve. So this is what which is called as. So unviable projects also being given restructured loans or restructured assets, so that they will be not called as NPA. This is what which is happening in COVID-19 times and in recession times. But some players, some firms, some startups, some companies are misusing this forbearance concept. They are not paying back the restructured asset also. The NPA is further increasing with respect to amount. That is called as regulatory forbearance. Finally, regulatory forbearance is the concept whereby, in order to protect the companies from not falling into the NPA, apart from the primary loan, the secondary loan is also provided on the name called as restructured assets. So that if they are not paying the NPA, if they are not paying the loans and falling into the NPA with this restructured asset, now they are paying back the bank loan in the form of EMI. So they are not falling into the NPA. They are coming out of the NPA provisioning and they themselves are becoming viable projects. That is the concept of regulatory forbearance. I hope you understood the concept, very important concept of economic survey. All the best. Subscribe, like, share to our channel. Thank you.